So this is the 5th video in my Sami Smith series. Now, I'm continuing the breakdown of the Tony Dodge interview, and in this one there's a number of different questions that are covered in it. So it actually starts with talking about Kylie's boyfriend or boyfriends, plural, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Now, I'd love to have comments from people below. Since I've started on the Sami Smith series, I've noticed a major drop in view count. So I'm just wondering if people are interested in me continuing looking at this particular series, or whether you'd prefer me to just move on to something different in Kylie's case, or even if you would just prefer me to be moving on to another case altogether. Please leave your comments below and let me know so that I know which direction to go in. To me, it feels a little bit discouraging to put work into a video and then find that the view count is not even half of what you would normally get. So a bit of clarification from people would be great. And I realise that at this point in time, I'm really not bringing anything new to Kylie's case. And as was pointed out to me, I came into it as a creator later than other creators. I was following Kylie's case from the very beginning, but I didn't actually start putting out any videos of my own till probably 6 months after Kylie passed. So people have pointed out that, well, I'm going over what other creators looked at in the very beginning. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, I mean, my goal is, like I said, I recognise that I'm not really coming up with anything new right now in Kylie's case. But my goal really is to just keep the spotlight on Kylie's case. Because, as I mentioned in my previous video, I think if we stop talking about Kylie, then we might as well give up. There will never be justice for Kylie if we stop talking about her case. But that said, if people are losing interest in watching content related to Kylie, then I can understand that as well. And I'll go with what people want, I guess. Anyway, let's jump into this Sami Smith video and go from here. Just as an aside, I'm working on the presumption that since my neighbour seems to be working on the other side of their house, that the renovation noises aren't going to come through on this video. So if they do, I apologise. And also, if they do, just let me know so I can be aware for future videos. I've lost a lot of recording time over the last several months because of them banging for 8 to 10 hours at a time. So if I can actually manage to do this video without it being disruptive and without the banging coming through, I want to at least try.
Daniel Taylor's in the house. Daniel Taylor wants to ask you, did Kylie have her boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend with her at the party?
No, there was no ex-boyfriend there.
So I never actually picked up on this before, but she says there were never any ex-boyfriends, plural, there. So is she referring to both Kylie's boyfriends, and is this confirmation that Nate was indeed an ex-boyfriend and that they had split up before this party? Curious. Or is she just not familiar enough with Kylie to know if there are any other ex-boyfriends other than Jagger? It could be either of those. I'd like to know what people think. It could also just be the way the wording came out, and that she was just making a general statement. No, there were no ex-boyfriends there. Sometimes, that's just the way the speech comes out. So it could just mean absolutely nothing.
No, there was no ex-boyfriend there. Her ex-boyfriend lived in Napa. He was in Napa at the time, and I think he lives in Napa.
So not only were her and Kylie not friends on social media, but also she has no idea about Jagger. So she thinks he lives in Napa. And that goes also to when it talks about where Kylie lives, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point.
And he actually drove up the next day, the second he heard that she was missing. He's very close with her family and her. There was no anything. And
This part of the conversation to me comes across as her regurgitating information that she has heard through the media. Now, I know we've heard various things where Megan has essentially admitted to coaching Sami for this interview, and this is such a typical Megan thing of regurgitating information that she's heard somewhere else and putting it out as her own knowledge. So is this something that Megan has actually told Sami to say? Or is this something that Sami has come up with on her own from watching various news reports and stuff like that? Or from listening to people around her? Just curious, because it really doesn't sound like she has first-hand knowledge of anything to do with Jagger in this particular situation.
and she does not currently have a boyfriend. She was rocking the single life, like we used to say. She just wanted to be open and single and just
Yeah.
have fun as a
I
kid.
get
Now, if I could easily lay my hands on the screenshot of the conversation, I think it was a Facebook page where Daddy Hamburger happened to mention that his son was close friends with Kylie, that would be useful, because the rocking the single life thing is just, I mean, it's an odd thing to say for starters, but my understanding was that Kylie and Nate were still going out. But then there was also some speculation that they had broken up just before the party. So I would like to be able to have another look at that particular screenshot. And I know Shan would remember or would have it. And I know some of my subscribers would definitely remember. So leave a comment below. Do you remember if in that particular screenshot it was that they were, as in inferring that they still were close friends, or that they had been? Do you think that Kylie and Nate were still boyfriend and girlfriend at this point in time?
she's
Not
only
that I
16.
know.
She's just a baby. I just can't even imagine. How's mom doing? Have you talked to her mom at all?
Yeah, so I've been in close contact with the family.
That one comment just rubs me up the wrong way so much. And yeah, we know that after this there was that town meeting where Lindsay went up behind Sami and gave her a hug. So I don't know what the story is there. To me, it just seems odd that the family would be happy to really have much to do with this girl who claims that she was the last person with their daughter, and that she pretty much knows the last thing that happened with their daughter. Essentially, that's what she's saying. So why weren't they questioning her heavily, and why hug on this girl when it's possible that she is responsible for your daughter being missing in the first place?
How they doing? She looked just a nervous wreck. I can't even imagine what she's going
Yeah.
through. Our thoughts and prayers are with. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say our thoughts and prayers are with the family. It's got to be a hard time.
I will admit there's no personal statements here that relate to Kylie's family. And she doesn't relate about how they're coping or anything like that when he says that. So I do have to question if she was simply saying that she'd been in close contact with them or whatever it was, for the purpose of this interview to make herself sound better. Because if you are guilty of something and you're doing this public interview that's going to be out on YouTube, you want to make yourself look as good as possible. So one way of trying to look like you're not guilty is to be like, yeah, well, I've been in close contact with the family because, you know, Kylie and I have been really close friends. We became closer in, you know, the last year to coming months and recently. So it could be that this is just manipulating the conversation on her part, trying to give that impression that she was closer to Kylie, and that she was close enough to Kylie that she would be having close communication with Kylie's family. Even though we find out later that she didn't know where Kylie actually lived.
What can we do to help? What can the public do? The web sleuths out there, what can we do to help and help find Kylie? What can we do to help you?
To everyone at this point around the world, I'm hoping that this is reaching, and if anybody's seeing this, just if they can keep sharing this, get the story out to neighbors and friends and family and local news stations and local newspapers, and posting flyers, making flyers, screenshotting, and somehow making flyers. We need this information to spread everywhere. We're trying to get posters everywhere, information everywhere, just trying to have everybody in the world at this point looking for Kylie.
Note the way she says this. She's not pleading for help to find Kylie. No, she wants to get the information out there throughout the entire world. She wants as many people to know that Kylie is missing. She wants people to have everybody in the world looking for Kylie. She's not talking about, we just want Kylie found and brought home. That's what you would expect from someone who is genuine. But no, to her, it's about getting the attention. We want the whole world to see this case. Well, how about pleading for help to bring your friend home? Wouldn't that be what you want people to know? You know, please, we just need people to help us find Kylie and bring her home. That's what I would expect from a friend of Kylie's, not this crap that she's putting out.
And just trying to find Kylie, and if anybody sees anything, to report it immediately to the sheriff's, the police, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, or the numbers that have been loaded on. There's been a lot of trouble and frustration with people about the tip line, but they have to understand that there's 1,000 people in there working, getting millions of calls a day now.
Over-exaggeration much. I don't know what the point of that over-exaggeration was, other than to try and justify the fact that people's tips were going to message banks and that nobody was getting back to them.
I know you had stated that you know, we're not trying to create any rumors, but there was something on the Facebook page that I wanted to see if maybe you can comment on this. It says 2 days ago on the Neighbors app, at 1:00 in the morning, a topless female was being chased by a Honda CRV and was pulled back into the vehicle in Sacramento, California. That's about an hour and 38 minutes away from Prosser Campground. Kylie drives the Honda CRV. Her tank top was possibly found at the scene. I know we just discussed that. We can't verify that is true. Down the road from the so they're saying her tank top was found at the scene down the road from the Prosser Campground. The timestamps could be off due to a camera clock being accurate or inaccurate. But I don't know is there anything you can comment on that?
To me, this was always a little bit weird for a number of reasons. First of all, it is curious that they found a tank top on the road between Boca and Prosser, and that you did have this report of a topless female. And they're saying, well, the time doesn't match because it was 1 a.m., which is about an hour and a half away. But at the same time, that is just making the presumption that Kylie was last seen at 12:30 at the party. Who do we have that information from? Because if we have that information from people who were involved in whatever happened to Kylie, that could be wrong. So what if, let's say, that 11:30 text from Kylie to her mum asking for an extension of her curfew somehow connects with this topless female being pulled back into a CRV an hour and a half later? That would allow the precise amount of time to end up out that way. Now, we've never seen the video, so we don't know if there is anything in this. It doesn't seem to fit with any other part of the narrative. So for me, that's the reason why I've pretty much discounted it as being something else entirely, because there are too many other bits of the narrative that make me want to discount that as actually fitting in with Kylie's case. So we do have people claiming to have seen Kylie at 12:30. We have another instance early on in the case. It was said that she was seen at 1:30. We have people saying that they saw her vehicle leaving the party at around 12:30. We have witnesses saying that they saw her vehicle at Boca the next day. So none of it seems to quite fit in with that narrative. So that's a bit of an outlier for me. Something that, in my mind, is you kind of keep it there as a thought. But since there is nothing else that would back it up, nothing else that points toward that being a reality, then it's just something that you put in that box of curious coincidences or curious incidents. Definitely not something to be putting very much weight on at all.
Yeah, so we are investigating into that currently from my knowledge of the detectives, and
she really does like to feel important, doesn't she? Saying we are investigating it and talking about from her knowledge of the detectives. Of course, given her family background, it is possible that she did have a lot of knowledge of what was going on in the case, because, you know, when you have family who are private investigators, and influential ones at that, it could be quite easy to insert yourself into the case. But at the same time, we know later on that we've heard from law enforcement that no, you are not to give tips to anyone other than us. So here I think it's just plain bullshit, basically. She's trying to make herself sound more important than what she is, and perhaps also putting it out that she is that heavily involved in the case because she desperately wants people to give their video footage and photos to her, not to law enforcement.
It has not been confirmed nor denied that if that is Kylie, but we do not believe that her shirt has not been found. I can confirm that her shirt was not found, nor were any articles of her clothing at all.
I'd like to know people's interpretation of that look on her face when she's saying that that shirt hasn't been found and no clothing of hers has been found at all. Looks to me like she is definitely visualizing something, or she's thinking about something that she has knowledge about in relation to Kylie's clothing. Could it be that that was Kylie's top that was found? Because honestly, she can't answer for law enforcement and say, no, that wasn't Kylie's top. She wouldn't know that. Investigators are certainly not going to be telling her that. So, just what is going on with this statement? I'd like to know what you think about it, but definitely I'd like to know also, like I said, your interpretation of that look on her face right there. What's going on at this moment in time? she's definitely trying to make sure that she debunks the idea that that could have been Kylie's top. And when you add in the window glass that was found on that same road and the broken phone that was found on that same road, I can't help thinking that something did happen along that road.
Okay, so I want to let's repeat that. The spaghetti strap shirt that was claimed to have been found, that was not hers.
No,
was not
it was
hers.
not hers. It was investigated by the FBI and the cops and everything. Not.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. So the spaghetti strap shirt, the top that was found, that did not belong to Kylie Rodney. Thank you for that, Sami.
Yeah.
Okay, only one agency is going to process anything that could be deemed evidence. You're not going to have a free-for-all with every agency investigating it. So we know right there that that's complete, utter bullshit what she's trying to say. She's definitely trying to control the narrative here and steer people away from talking about that top. Could it have been Kylie's top? Possibly. Could it have been a different top? It's the end of summer. You never know. It's a busy area. So there could have been a lot of discarded items in the area that got found while people were searching for Kylie because people hadn't been to those particular locations for a while. Although in the case of that top, it was found in the middle of the road, which is certainly interesting. But we can't say 100% either way because nothing's been confirmed by law enforcement. And of course the photo, because the lady was respectful and didn't want to touch it in case it was evidence. In the photo, it's all bundled up, so it's hard even to be certain what sort of top it was. Once again, I don't seem to have gotten very far through this interview, but this is a logical point to stop because then the conversation goes off in a different direction. So with this particular one, I think it is a good idea to just leave it at this point with the discussion of the clothing, etc. So thanks for listening. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, please leave a comment below. And like I said at the start of this video, I did ask people if they wanted me to continue going through this Tony Dodge interview, but through listening to this, I do feel that there is value, even if there isn't many views. I feel there is value in going through all these different interviews with people. So I am going to push on with these Sami Smith interviews. So my next video will be another look at Sami Smith and this Tony Dodge thing. So hopefully you'll come back and you'll listen to that.